Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my opinion. I've already uploaded a preview video previewing this final between India and New Zealand. However, this will be the first time a guest is making an appearance on this channel. This guest is my twin brother, Aditya. He's a fast bowling all-rounder. He's into playing and watching cricket, more into playing. And I'll hand things over to him to introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Aditya. It should be a great game tomorrow coming up. Two of the best teams in the tournament by far, India and New Zealand. No one's even come close to giving them a challenge, so should be a cracker. What do you think?
Yeah, it's certainly the two deserving teams playing this final, and I feel compared to the others, New Zealand has got the goods to beating India will be a challenge, but they've got the goods to certainly compete in this match, as we saw in the third group match between these sides at this venue. And getting into things, I know in terms of the different perspectives, I'll be going into the analysis. And Aditya is someone who's followed the Indian team for a long time. He's followed this tournament as well. And he will have some valuable inputs on in terms of the team combinations for India. But as far as the analysis is concerned, I'll be leading the way. And I don't think there will be a change made for both sides unless due to injury. If we start off with India, I think, as I said, I think they'll retain the same combination. There were two injury concerns. Now, Hardik Pandya, there hasn't been an update on his injury issue. Have you seen any update to see whether he'll be fit for this match?
No, I've seen on Instagram that he's twisted his knee or something, but if he's injured, that would be a big loss. I think a player like Hardik Pandya, you can't really get a replacement for him. Because he's got the ability to create an impact with both the bat and ball. But I didn't see any major concerns over his availability for the match. And even in the last game, when he towards the end of the game, he wasn't limping, or I didn't see any
He was limping at the start. He wasn't limping when he walked out when he was dismissed. He didn't seem to be in as much discomfort from what I remember. But while he was batting, he was limping a bit. But there hasn't been an update as to whether he will play or not. In fact, I saw today that there was one other injury scare. They weren't talking about Hardik Pandya, they were talking about Virat Kohli because he had been hit on the knee in practice, apparently. I only saw it today.
Well, I don't think Virat Kohli is the type of player to miss an ICC final.
Yeah, I don't think that either.
Just because he's been hit on the knee in practice. But as you said, the blow Hardik Pandya has I think if anyone's going to be injured, there's more of a chance of him being injured because of his injury concerns over the past. But yeah, if he's injured, it's a real big hit for India. You might say yourself, I've heard you say a couple times that Hardik Pandya's bowling is not very effective and stuff like that. But
his current bowling, certainly in the last while, in my view, has not been.
I think a player like Hardik Pandya, his ball striking ability at the end, when he walks out to bat, I don't think any other player in the team has it. In that squad has it, and even his bowling, he picks up crucial wickets. So, and he has done throughout the tournament. He's not bowled badly throughout the tournament, has he? So I think a player like Hardik Pandya is really hard to replace. And yeah, let's just hope that he's available.
Against Pakistan especially, you saw the output that he had with the ball. And as you said, his batting takes centre stage, but he does provide vital breakthroughs that has helped India win matches. So I agree with what you say about we both would want him to be fit for this match. Now, if Hardik Pandya isn't fit, looking at the options that they have, there's Rishabh Pant, who would be a pure batsman, and since Hardik Pandya is bowling a maximum of about 5 overs per innings, then they could think of putting Rishabh Pant in. I don't think they will. Washington Sundar, you've seen Akash Chopra said, or Mohammad Kaif, I don't know who, they said that they should play him. Will he add and before coming on air, we talked about this ball where India will be playing with 4 spinners. Do you think the fifth spinner, when the second seamer is only bowling 5 overs, do you think the fifth spinner is going to have too much impact? I don't think so. What do you think?
I don't think there's any point in playing a fifth spinner. Obviously, you need that ability with the new ball up front to get the wickets. I don't think India has that luxury of being able to play 5 spinners, and like so far they haven't really done that throughout the tournament, and it's worked for them. So why would they, unnecessarily bring another fifth spinner in? I feel like too many spinners just going to allow the batsman to settle from the start.
Unless, and this is something which I hadn't thought of until very recently. That is, you drop Kuldeep Yadav for Harshit Rana, then you can play Washington ahead of Hardik Pandya if there's an injury concern, because you'd need those 2 seamers. Well, Arshdeep Singh preferably, but they will go with Harshit Rana. So if you drop Kuldeep Yadav for Arshdeep Singh, then you play Washington ahead of Hardik Pandya, then it would sort of course, the batting, Hardik Pandya, we know what he can do, and he's a very good batsman, but can you compare him with Hardik as a non-white ball cricket with the role he plays? No, you can't. But what do you think about that? If to retain the balance, they put Arshdeep ahead of Kuldeep, and then you've got Washington ahead of Hardik in case of injury.
I mean, it wouldn't be the right thing dropping Kuldeep Yadav. You've seen his record in ODIs over the past years. He's been a champion for India, so I don't think we could drop someone like Kuldeep Yadav could be dropped. And when as you said, if Hardik Pandya isn't fit, you're gonna be either sacrificing your bowling or your batting, because that's the sort of player he is. You can't really replace Hardik Pandya. So I would say, instead of bringing a fifth spinner as a replacement for Pandya, bring in Arshdeep Singh or Rana, and at least then you got two new ball bowlers up front. Instead of 5 spinners. Washington Sundar doesn't have the batting ability like Hardik Pandya does. I honestly don't think he's going to add value with the ball either if he comes into the side instead of Hardik Pandya.
Now, I think with the 4 spinners, Washington's role will be minimal. However, now, if you have to have 2 seamers and Hardik Pandya doesn't play, then who else is there to drop apart from Kuldeep? And you may think I'm playing devil's advocate here, but in my view, if you have to retain 2 spinners, the only way you can do if Hardik isn't playing is dropping Kuldeep. Can Akshar be dropped? No. Can Jadeja be dropped? No. Can Varun Chakravarti be dropped? No. So it's only Kuldeep, and it's not the question of whether he's done well or not done well. It's a team combination. How can you manage things if you've got such a crucial player like Hardik Pandya not fit for this important match? Is where you make use of the resources you've got. And because, and I'll say this again, I said this in my other videos, how often has a spinner at this venue taken more than 2 wickets in an innings? It's only once, and that is Varun Chakravarti against New Zealand. Now, they couldn't play the mystery spin that he offered, but could they, as far as trends go, in Dubai, spinners don't run through the opposition, they keep the runs down. Which is why, have we seen Kuldeep Yadav running through the opposition? No, and I'm not surprised that we haven't done. It's not that he's bowled badly, it's just because that's how the conditions are. So what would you drop, if you have to play a second seamer, in my view, you've only got to drop Kuldeep Yadav. What should you do?
Well, I feel like first you've got to think about, if Hardik doesn't play, right, what's going to be affected more? I personally think the batting's not going to be. I mean, obviously his ability to hit the ball at the end and give you those extra runs at the end of the innings is priceless. But I feel like the fast bowling option is what's going to be removed if he doesn't play, right? Because his batting, even right, he hasn't really come out to bat much in the Champions Trophy. So,
but okay, continue.
So what I think is the fast bowling option, that seam bowling option, is what's going to be missed. So I think if he's not playing, either bring in Arshdeep Singh to get some wickets with the new ball, because that's really important. If you're going to get wickets, you have to get it up front. And I think the perfect partner to bowl along with Shami up front would be Arshdeep Singh. Or Harshit Rana, obviously. I think in terms of who's played more matches recently, I think Harshit Rana will come into to bowl instead of Arshdeep Singh.
My view is the other way. they will not lose out on Hardik Pandya not bowling because in his 5 overs, does it yield too much apart from the one match against Pakistan? No. And that's why they are better off. I feel the two things. If they want to retain that second seamer, the only way is to drop Kuldeep. Secondly, if they're thinking we've got the 5 bowlers and we don't bowl out some of the spinners, even though they're bowling well enough to be bowled out. So if you're purely focusing on the output, is Hardik Pandya's 5 overs a match-winning 5 overs? No. So if they bring in Rishabh Pant ahead of Hardik Pandya to make sure that batting is down to where, and you don't lose out on the bowling because you got the 5 bowlers there. Now, if it's a surface like we saw against Australia where the ball didn't turn that much, it was slow, then if you go with 4 spinners and 1 seamer, it's a risk. So that's what they have to think. This is why I'm saying just on the safe side as far as bowling is concerned. Because if Washington Sundar has to win you a match at number 7, then you can't think that far down. You've got a fantastic batting lineup there already. Washington can win you a match, then you've got Jadeja at number 8. Do you need to think beyond that? No. If you retain your bowling combination, don't get too excited and go with more spinners, then I think that is the way to go for India.
Yeah, I agree. Either what you say was either two things have to happen. Either you bring in the extra spinner or bring in the extra seamer. And I don't know, Rishabh Pant, when's the last time he's played white ball cricket, especially ODI cricket? I don't think bring him into a final, straight
If there's
into a
one
final.
player who's going to do something in the finals, Rishabh Pant, if you bring him in from outside yours, you got Ashwin, who's retired. Then who else? I don't think Bumrah's not fit. Bhuvneshwar has not been picked. There's no one else really you can say. Ashdeep maybe is getting to that level. Then who else really can you say if you bring them in for one match they won't do well? I don't think so. With the fortitude, the skill levels that these players have, I think Rishabh Pant will be relishing an opportunity to play final.
I guess you got a point there because, like, if there's one player who will give you something similar with a bat, like Hardik Pandya with this Rishabh Pant in that squad, and he's a big match player, pressure player as well. So, yeah, maybe Rishabh Pant would be a good choice, but I'm not sure. It's all down to them, all down to the management, what they do. We don't really
We
know.
hope that India go on this match now quickly onto New Zealand. On New Zealand now, Matt Henry, there's an injury concern around him, and I'd say there's more so injury concern around him than there is for Hardik Pandya. He picked up an injury in the latter part of the second semi-final, and looking at the lack of, well, Carl Jamieson's played a few matches, yes, but I think he's very much a single-phase bowler, as I've said many times in previous videos. And if Matt Henry doesn't strike up front, then you've got one of Jacob Duffy and Nathan Smith to take up that role. Certainly, can you compare them to the class of Matt Henry? No, you can't. And what are your views on this?
Someone like Matt Henry, we've seen in ICC tournaments in the past, and especially against India, what he offers with a new ball. He's a brilliant bowler, but I think a out and out pacer like Matt Henry is easier to find a replacement for than someone like a Hardik Pandya who's much more impactful in all areas rather than Matt. Obviously not taken away from Matt Henry. He's a champion, obviously been a champion bowler in all formats. But yeah, I think with New Zealand they can find another seamer easily to fill in that role, if you know what I mean.
Well, you say that, but if you're looking at the skill replacement, so Hardik Pandya, you're considering his batting, you've got Rishabh Pant. And if you're considering a change of combination, you got Washington Sundar, and you can play Ashdeep ahead of Kuldeep. But for New Zealand, can you play? You can't play Mark Chapman ahead of Matt Henry because he's a frontline bowler, and Mark Chapman, Devon Conway are batsmen. You've got to play one of Jacob Duffy or Nathan Smith. Are they the two that can replace Matt Henry? As of now, I don't think so. Jacob Duffy not played much. Nathan Smith is a good talent, but I don't think they can replace Matt Henry as of now. So you're looking at the primary skill. India have got options to replace Hardik's primary skill and supplementary skill, whereas New Zealand don't have an option to replace Matt Henry's primary skill if you're comparing the levels of class.
Yeah, and I feel if you look at New Zealand's team in general, right? And if you look at their bowling attack, their only strength is their new ball bowlers, their pacers, right? Because I think apart from Matt Henry and Will O'Rourke, whatever his name is, right? Apart from they don't really have much of a spin attack. As in, Rachin Ravindra, he's a part-timer. Same with Glenn Phillips. And Mitch Santner, he's not a kind of bowler who'll get you wickets. He's more of an economical bowler. So none of these bowlers, except from Matt Henry and Will O'Rourke, will give trouble to India, I think, especially with India's batting depth.
Yep, certainly you're right. And I've said this in my video as well. If you're comparing the offensive and defensive gears of the Indian spinners compared to New Zealand, New Zealand have got more of a defensive gear. India have got the offensive and defensive gears. And if you're looking at this New Zealand batting side, you saw in the previous match, they've been looking to play Darryl Mitchell at 4, Tom Latham at 5. And especially at higher scoring venues, Tom Latham walked out at 5 and scored 4 or 5. And I'd said at the start, Devon Conway could play ahead of Wu Young and you could let him keep, so you could bring Mark Chapman, who can be a power hitter in the middle overs. And they got 360 against South Africa. If Glenn Phillips hadn't scored that quick 549, Darren Mitchell, yes, scored 49, but he's someone who takes his time up front, then looks to unleash. Tom Latham, not a power hitter. Michael Bracewell, not a power hitter. Mitchell Santner, not a power hitter. So if you take out Glenn Phillips' innings, they go well under what they've got. In this case, a 280 score would be good for both sides, meaning Tom Latham, even if he bats with 5, he can maneuver the spinners, and the risk factors when playing on a better batting surface wouldn't be as present in this case because of the slow nature of the spin.
Yeah, as in, the score's pretty predictable, to be honest. If you look at how many games have India played in Dubai so far? 5 games.
Four.
This is good.
This is the 5th match.
So all of those games, I think 280 would have been a winning score, or potentially a winning score, right? We've seen the scores have only been between 260 and 280. We haven't seen anything really above 300, right? So obviously 280 is going to be a good target. I think both the teams will know that. And spin is going to be, apart from the first few overs, the first 10 overs, right, where the fast bowlers there might be something in it for the pacers. Spin is going to be the one that dominates, I think.
When you say dominate, and I'm sorry for
as in to slow keep the run rate down. So to keep the game under control for the bowling side, if you know what I mean. So that is going to be the way to go. It's important. Rotation of strike will be important. Getting the odd boundaries here and there and not letting those boundaries dry up will be important as well. So, yeah. And especially now that I've said that, New Zealand's bowling is looking even more weak. Because already you said Matt Henry's not going to play, might not play.
Well, he might not play.
Their spin bowling's pretty average, to be honest. So
It's not average, but it can go well against teams who don't use their feet against spin, which is most of the other teams if they don't help themselves. But India helped themselves against spin, so I don't think that you can run through an Indian side with this bowling.
Yeah, I think both teams' batting is pretty deep and pretty good. So I think the batting is what's going to win the games for both of them.
So that's on that. According to me, India now in my pre-video, I'd say the only edge New Zealand have got is in one metric, and that is the fast bowling attack to strike up front. Apart from that, the top 4 to get to 52 for 1, both are equal. The middle overs not to get bogged down versus spin, India have got the advantage. The spinners to play a containing role in the middle, India have got an advantage. So that's 2-0 to, if you had 1-1, so it's a draw, 2-0 to India. The only one where you can make it 2-1 is where New Zealand, that fast bowling edge, striking up front, New Zealand have got. Apart from that, India have got the edge, so I feel they'll win this final. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to support India. I want India to win. And I think that my heart says that they're going to win, obviously. But, it will be a good game to watch. I think both teams have got a good bunch of players there. Like New Zealand, their batting is really, really strong. All their players are in form. How's Will Young done in the tournament so far?
He scored a century, then he scored a 20s here and there. But he's in better form than Conway, so they went with him.
Oh, so he's done all right. Like he's scored in the tournament. So Yeah, I think all their batsmen are coming in with great form. You see Rachin Ravindra, Kane Williamson, they're just coming off a century as well. And is Tom Latham playing or
Tom Latham is playing. He's batting at number 5.
yeah. And all of them are good players of spin as well. I think Tom Latham is a very good player of spin from what I've seen. His technique's sound and he's so yeah, as India have to be careful. They can't just let things loose when they're like they did. I feel like against Pakistan. I mean, obviously Rizwan messed things up and by playing dot balls, but I think they shouldn't let things go in the middle overs, especially when the spinners come on. So yeah, it's going to be a very good game to watch. I hope India win, and yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
Yep, you hope they win, and I think they will win. Let's see what happens tomorrow. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Please share with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?